What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another gun guide. This is a series where I go into great detail with all of the stats as well as some excellent attachment combinations for every gun in Call of Duty Vanguard. And in today's episode, we're finally getting into the sniper category, and we're going to start it off with the Kar98. And starting it off as always, let's have a look at our damage profile, which as we can see here, we deal more than 100 damage anywhere in the head, neck, upper torso, mid torso, or lower torso. So it's a one-shot kill anywhere in the torso. Then we have a second damage multiplier zone. This is where you deal 92 damage, and that'll be to the shoulders, the biceps, and the upper leg. And then everywhere else, you're only going to be dealing 83 damage. Realistically speaking, there's not much difference between that 83 damage though and 92 damage. Both will be a two-shot kill. It's also worth noting here there is no range drop-off whatsoever. These will be applying at any range in the game. As for our rate of fire, this is 46.2 rounds per minute, which gives us a rechamber time between shots of 1.3 seconds. This is the fastest out of any of the bolt-action sniper rifles in the game. Then when it comes to our bullet velocity, this is standard for sniper rifles at 930 meters per second. And now let's get into our hipfire, which, as you can see here, the Kar98 is kind of in the middle for sniper rifles. It doesn't have amazing hipfire by any means. You really only want to be doing this if you're essentially point-blank range and really in a tough situation where you don't have time to aim down sight. But outside of that, this thing is not designed for hipfire. As for the next stat, this is one of the most important stats for the sniper rifle in Call of Duty. This is our aim down sight time, which is 595 milliseconds. And this is actually the second best out of any of the sniper rifles currently. It's only slower than the Type 99, and therefore this is automatically going to be one of the better options when it comes to quickscoping in this game. But after that, let's have a look at our sprint to fire time, which is 333 milliseconds for our standard sprint out time and 551 for our tactical sprint out time. And this is fairly standard for a sniper rifle, but I do want to be extremely clear here since a lot of people are still unaware. If your sprint out time is faster than your aim down sight time, which it is in this case, then it literally only ever comes into play if you're hip firing. It has no effect whatsoever if you're fully aiming down sight. And therefore, I feel like too many people put way too much stock on sprint to fire time for sniper rifles. So generally speaking, you don't have to worry too much about this, but I will say if you use a lot of attachments to improve your aim down sight time and then other attachments that significantly harm your sprint out time, you may end up in a situation where your tactical sprint out time is slower than your aim down sight time. In which case, if you're coming out of a tactical sprint and trying to quickscope, it will actually slow your aim down sight time down. But that's a fairly rare case, and that's also something that can be very easily adjusted for with a slight playstyle change. You shouldn't be tac sprinting into a quickscope. But next up, let's get into our reload time. And it turns out if you're using any sort of a scope on the gun, you have to load each round individually. And to load one single round, it's going to take you 1.6 seconds. However, if we fire till we're completely empty, it's going to take us a total of 4.49 seconds to reload all 5 rounds. And this is quite a long time for a full reload. Now, having said that, if we aren't using a scope attachment, so if you're using like a red dot sight or iron sights on this, then your character will automatically use a stripper clip to reload, so it reloads all of the rounds at once instead of one at a time. And the total reload time for doing this is just 1.9 seconds, so it's a significantly faster reload time here. But then let's move into our mobility stats, and our base movement speed is 10.2 miles per hour, which is faster than average for a sniper rifle. Our sprint speed is also a little bit faster than average at 14.37 miles per hour. And then finally, our aim walking movement speed is right around average for a sniper rifle. Technically a little bit below average, but it's pretty normal in this area. You're not typically going to be like strafing around a corner into a fight with this gun. And with that, this is normally where we wrap it up for the base stats of a gun, but there's one more extremely important characteristic for sniper rifles that's far more important than most other guns, and this is flinch. How much do we flinch when shot? And I did want to go through, we're going to start this with our base flinch, which as you can see there's a significant amount of flinch. This will absolutely throw you off target if you get shot at just the right time. Keep in mind that's 0.9 newtons of flinch resistance. Now with stocks 1 or 5 on the Kar98, we get 0.7 newtons of flinch resistance, and with this you can see it's actually very noticeably improved. You don't flinch nearly as much. And then finally, I wanted to show you what 0.5 newtons looks like, and this is the flinch level you'd get with the first barrel attachment or the polymer rear grip. And this one is helping you a little bit more than stocks 1 and 5. And just as a little reference here, this is the exact point that you will flinch to at this range with each of these attachments and each of these flinch resistance values, just so you can keep that in mind as you're creating your class setups. If you're trying to make a solid sniper build, especially for really long ranges, I highly recommend that you take flinch into consideration. And with that, I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into the barrel attachments as well as the magazine attachments, because some of them have a pretty big impact. Normally, I'd look at recoil as well as ranges, but since neither of those stats really apply to sniper rifles, we're just going to dive into the individual breakdowns here. And let's start it off with the third barrel attachment, because the first two barrels are all self-explanatory. You can see exactly what changes in the stat menus for yourself. But with the third one, it's a little bit more ambiguous. This one gives you a larger one-hit kill area, and I did the testing with this. As you can see there, our one-shot kill range will now apply to the shoulders, the biceps, and the upper legs, as well as our base one-shot kill area, which is anywhere in the torso, neck, or head. Additionally, this noticeably increases our bullet velocity up to 1,302 meters per second, but it harms our aim down sight time quite significantly. Our new aim down sight time with this is 661 milliseconds. So with this barrel, at least in my opinion, I think it's completely overkill for anybody that's got decent aim out there. The base one-hit kill area with the Kar98 is totally fine as is. If you're decently confident in your aim, you should see very few hit markers with it. And as a result, I generally wouldn't recommend this barrel unless you are somebody that really struggles and gets a lot of hit markers with the base Kar98. As for the next barrel attachment that changes our one-hit kill potential, this is the fifth barrel, and as we can see there, our new one-hit kill potential only applies to the upper torso, neck, and head. So that's a very small area to be hitting, and unless you're extremely confident in your aim, you're likely to see quite a few hit markers with this particular barrel. Now, this does come with one really nice benefit, and that's a very noticeable improvement to our aim down sight time. So for those quickscopers out there that are extremely confident in their aim and they feel they can quickscope just fine by hitting upper torso shots, they may love this barrel. For anybody else out there though, I would say you should probably stay away from this because you're just going to be getting hit markers like crazy. And with that, that provides a nice segue into the magazine attachments. And we have two alternative calibers that we can use. The first one is the 6.5 Sakura rounds. And with this, we get a very slight increase to our rate of fire. This is hardly even noticeable though. And it also slightly improves our aim down sight time. But just like with the barrel we just looked at, our one-hit kill area is only upper torso, neck, and head. And you can also see there, any area marked in yellow, so anywhere that's not the torso, will take you 3 shots to kill, which is absolutely ridiculous for a bolt-action sniper rifle in Call of Duty. And it turns out the next caliber you can use with the fourth magazine attachment, this one's even worse. This one can take you up to 4 shots to kill if you're shooting them in the limbs, which absolutely blows my mind. I don't know who designed these attachments, but these are some of the worst attachments I have ever seen on a weapon in a Call of Duty game. Especially when you compare it to how fast a lot of the regular full auto guns kill in this game. To make a bolt action rifle take up to 4 shots to kill is completely ridiculous. Stay so far away from these different calibers on the Kar98. They are going to make your gun absolutely terrible. And I did also test this in combination with the barrel that boosts our one-hit kill area, and we still only get a one-hit kill to the upper torso, neck, and head. So there isn't a single situation that I can think of where using these alternative calibers would be beneficial. And with that, we can move straight into some excellent attachment combinations to use on the Kar98. And the first one is a nice versatile build that I really personally like. This is how I like running the Kar98, because we've got a solid one-hit kill area anywhere in the torso. That's very easy for me to be hitting most of the time. It's very rare I get hit markers. We've got very low idle sway with this. We have decent handling for a sniper rifle. Our aim down sight time is 555 milliseconds, which isn't bad in this game. It's not amazing by any means. You could technically get better, but you'd be sacrificing too much in other areas for a versatile build like this. So I would say you can still quickscope with this just fine. And another really nice thing is it has fairly low flinch. We've got 0.6 newtons of flinch resistance on this. And this is why I really like this build. It's got a little bit of everything on it. You're not sacrificing any of the key areas too heavily, and it's just balanced nicely for a wide variety of styles of sniping. As for the next build I'm going to share for you guys, this one seems to be popular with a lot of people, and this is my Iron Sight Sniper build. So with this, we're using that Scout Silencer since there's essentially zero downside to using that. We've got the fourth barrel attachment, which helps with our aim down sight time without hurting anything else too heavily aside from bullet velocity, which we're going to make up for that by using lengthened. We're using the first available iron sight attachment. That one is the better one in my opinion. We've got the short stock on there for, again, fast aim down sight time. Also, fabric grip, again, fast aim down sight time. That's really what we're aiming for with this one. And then we've got frenzy for our proficiency, just like the previous setup, because frenzy is amazing for sniper rifles, since if you take damage in a gunfight and then you win that gunfight by one-shotting your target, you heal almost immediately after that. And with all of this combined, we get a pretty incredible aim down sight time for a sniper rifle in this game at least, at 479 milliseconds. We still have a one-shot kill potential anywhere in the torso, and it's also just kind of fun to use an iron sight sniper. Now, this is obviously more of a niche build. You're not going to be picking people off across the map nearly as effectively as the previous build where I'm using a scope. This is designed to be used a lot more aggressively. Also, when you look at our flinch resistance, we have the base level of flinch resistance, which isn't very good. So again, you want to keep yourself generally up close and personal, and you may want to be pre-aiming just a little bit lower than you normally would. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for today's gun guide on the Kar98k. As for my thoughts on this gun, I actually think it's quite solid as a sniper rifle. I'll admit, sniping is more difficult in this game compared to Cold War or even Modern Warfare, for instance. But even with that in mind, I had a great time grinding through the Kar98. I played way better than I thought I would, and I really enjoy using this gun. So I would actually say out of all of the bolt actions, the Kar98 is currently my favorite. But of course, those are just my thoughts. I'd like to hear from you guys in the comment section below. What do you think of the Kar98k in Call of Duty Vanguard? Do you think this gun is actually quite solid like I do? Or do you think it could really use some love and maybe use some buffs in some areas? Just let me know all of the thoughts down below. Also, if you guys have missed any of the previous episodes of Gun Guides, I will leave a link to the playlist in the description down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.